Hey, it's Scarlett. Welcome back to the Dreaded Hour. If you enjoy my videos, please like and subscribe. Also, tell me who's your favorite Pokémon in the comments. Now, let's begin. Story 1. Gengar. I met up with my crew for some dumb fun on a Friday night after school. The names were Dylan, Jesse, Corey, and Olivia. Not their real names, of course. We all piled into Corey's house since he had a basement, and his parents didn't mind. The night was filled with a couple of beers and some shrooms. Just your typical high school Friday night. Until things took an interesting turn when Olivia spotted a Ouija board jammed on a shelf with old board games. "Let's do it," she said. And I was down, as everyone else. We dragged it out, no instructions, just the board and the planchette. Lights off, we rigged a 40-ounce bottle over my phone's flashlight, casting a weak glow. We didn't know what we were doing, so we all stuck our fingers on the planchette. Olivia blurted, "Is anyone there?" A few seconds passed. Then we burst into laughter. I kid you not. Everyone's face looked twisted. It was definitely the shrooms messing with me. I wasn't taking it seriously, so I repeated, "Is anyone there?" Again, seconds passed, and nothing. Dylan, whose house sits across from a graveyard, grinned. "Let's take it there." There was no hesitation. We didn't believe in this junk, and I really wanted to see something happen. We trekked over, wandering through the graveyard, definitely disrespecting the dead with our presence, throwing beer at each other and chasing each other around. Then we stumbled on a crypt. In amazement, we saw the gates were unlocked, hanging loose. Inside, a short pillar stood, which happened to be the perfect height for the board. We set it up, propped to the 40-ounce light again. The beam hit us from below, making our faces look creepy. We tried to get serious, half smirking, fingers back on the planchette. That's when it shifted. The crypt got cold, and I felt the dread sneaking in. I said out loud, "Is anyone there?" We waited, and the planchette slowly slid to yes. I was freaking out. Part of me thought someone was pushing it. We're always screwing around. But it was too cold. I could see goosebumps on my arms. I feel like I was the only one who noticed. Then it got really scary. "What's your name?" we asked. The planchette started moving, spelling Gengar. Giggling, I said, "Like the Pokémon?" Corey's face dropped. He pulled out his wallet, flashed a credit card with a Gengar Pokémon card on it. He started explaining how he got it custom-made through the TikTok shop. We screamed, shouted, thinking Corey was playing us. But then everything fell silent, and I heard a faint, haunting voice whisper, "Get out." I stared into Dylan's eyes for proof I wasn't crazy. Suddenly, the Ouija board violently slid toward me, missed, and hit the wall. We bolted for the exit. Just as I reached the door, I screamed, "We need to say bye!" We spun back, grabbed the board off the crypt's right side, and set it up fast. Fingers on the planchette, we slid it to say goodbye, yelled, "Bye!" together, snatched our stuff and ran. Back on the street, we caught our breath bickering. Jesse swore Corey moved it. Olivia called us idiots. I checked my bag later. The planchette was gone. No one had it. I haven't messed with a Ouija board since then. Corey still keeps that Gengar card, and he says it's cursed now. Even with its twisted backstory, it's cool to see the original art whenever Corey pays for something. Hey, have you liked the video yet? It really helps me with the algorithm. So hit that like button, and if you got any scary stories or creepy encounters you'd like to share, email me at thedreadedhour@gmail.com. Story 2. Lost Pokémon Treasures. I'm not sure I'd call this a traditional horror story, but it's a tale of terror that still hits home. Around 1999 or 2000, when I was 8 or 9, my mom got me a Ninetales starter deck. And that's when my Pokémon card obsession took off. Pokémon ruled my world. I spent hours sketching Pikachu, battling imaginary gym leaders in my head. Anything to live in that universe. With no allowance and parents who rarely splurged, collecting cards wasn't easy. Still, Dad stayed late at work often, and I'd negotiate a pack out of him each time. First edition packs became my prize. He'd toss protective sleeves into the cart, insisting the shiny ones would be worth something someday. And he nailed it. Card shops always had stacks of packs, tempting me to dream bigger. This marks the start of my downfall. A local shop sat next to the grocery store my parents frequented. Almost every time Mom went shopping, I'd slip inside to browse the games I couldn't afford. Remember reading video game boxes when digital copies didn't exist? That was me, every visit. But my parents wouldn't buy me anything unless it was a special occasion. One day, temptation won. I hatched a plan to steal Pokémon trading card game. Grabbing the box, I ducked to a corner table with drapes and slid my hands underneath. With my nail, I peeled off the plastic, pulled out the cartridge, promo card and all, stuffing it into my pocket where it bulged. My 9-year-old brain swore I'd pull it off, even with people around who didn't seem to notice. Or so I thought. Browsing casually, I froze when the manager gripped my arm and hissed, "You're in big trouble." He dragged me to the back, plopped me in a lone chair, and soon police arrived. Mom wandered in, spotting me in handcuffs. One officer stayed with me while the other reviewed footage with the manager through an open door. I could see it all. Her sobs hit me hard. Guilt sank in deeper when they returned, uncuffing me as I blubbered an apology to the manager, tears and snot everywhere. The car ride home stung worse. Mom yelled through tears, "Why steal? Why not ask?" Scolding filled the air until we pulled up. She sent me to my room with a sharp, "Wait for your dad." Time crawled, my chest hollow, dreading his arrival. When Dad got home, the lectures doubled. Mom made me write apology letters. One to the manager, one to God, since church was their Sunday ritual. But the real punishment loomed ahead. Next day, Mom rounded up all my Pokémon stuff. Binders, sleeved shinies, tins, stickers, even red version, and trashed it. I watched, helpless, as she stuffed everything into a black garbage bag, the sides tearing from the binders. I clung to her leg, but she marched to the curb anyway. That moment broke me. I still can't pinpoint why I stole. Pokémon trading card game had haunted me for weeks. But my brain just snapped. Later, stealing became a habit. Dragon Ball Z cards slipped into my pockets at different stores. Never that game shop again. I chased Yu-Gi-Oh!, Digimon, more Dragon Ball Z, and eventually Pokémon again. Some bought fair and some snatched quick. I've changed, and don't condone it now. But knowing 2 base set first edition Charizards got tossed in those tins still stings. Story 3. Cash, cards, chaos. I've been selling Pokémon cards for years. Got my own shop now. But back then, I was just a guy living with my parents, hustling on eBay and Craigslist. I'd list everything on both, loose packs, PSA graded holos, whatever I could flip. eBay was reliable, but their fees on collectibles ate into my profits. 10, sometimes 15%. Craigslist? That was pure cash. No middleman. I'd done hundreds of sales across both platforms, no issues. Smooth trades, happy buyers, easy money. Until that one time. After that, I swore off Craigslist for good. It started with a text from an out-of-state number. "Hey, I'm interested in your first edition, base set PSA 8 Venusaur." That card was pristine, Deep green hollow, sharp corners, a gem from 99. I texted back, "Yeah, it's available. You good with 180? It was a premium price, but fair. Venusaur is a tank, a collector's prize. He shot back fast. "Sure, I've got cash." No haggling, no hesitation. I suggested the usual spot, the Walmart parking lot, way in the back. Meet at 5 p.m. I'd met dozens of buyers there. Open, public, safe. My system worked. Or so I thought. I got there at 4:55. Parked between two beat-up sedans. Angled so I could see the whole lot. The sun was dipping, casting long shadows over the cracked asphalt. I texted, "I'm here," and waited, scanning the sparse cars scattered around. 3 stood out in the distance. A rusted pickup, a silver hatchback, and a faded blue SUV. Nothing moved. 5 came and went, then 5:10. My phone stayed quiet, and that itch started. The one you get when something's off, but you can't name it. At 5:15, a green Dodge Caravan rolled into the lot, parking crooked near the back. My phone buzzed right after. Here, green Dodge Caravan. I squinted across the asphalt. There it was. Windows tinted black, engine still running. That had to be him. Text matched the van, no doubt in my mind. I pictured some loan collector, cash in hand, ready for a quick trade. I grabbed the Venusaur in its slab, slipped it into my jacket, and started walking. Halfway there, the van's doors flew open. 3 guys piled out, fast. Big dudes, hoodies up, moving like they rehearsed it. They locked eyes on me. No hesitation, no small talk. My stomach dropped. I had my sunglasses on, trying to play it cool, but my legs felt like they were sinking into the pavement. I kept moving, but not toward them. I veered left, crossing the street toward the gym next door. Bushes scratched at my jeans as I hopped at the median. Stupid, clumsy, but I didn't care. My brain was screaming, "This isn't right. 3 guys for 1 card? Cash or not, that's not how this works." I hit the gym's glass doors and slipped inside. Heart hammering, the hum of treadmills filled the air as I darted behind a row of lockers, eyes glued to the window. My phone lit up, texts piling in. "Where are you? Hello, you there? Sorry, I was late, I'm here." Then it turned ugly. "What's your problem? Why aren't you responding? You're wasting my fucking time." I peeked around the lockers. They were still out there, pacing by the van, heads swiveling. One guy had his phone out, typing fast. 5:45 rolled around, and they finally peeled out, tires squealing. I must have looked like a crazy person just outside the gym entrance doors. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe I lost a sale over paranoia. But every bone in my body said I'd dodged something bad. Robbery, a beatdown, or worse. What if they'd grabbed me right there, thrown me in the van, and forced me to take them to my parents' house? All my cards were there, thousands of dollars worth. And my mom and dad? Oblivious, just watching TV. My mind spiraled into darker corners, tied up, helpless, watching them ransack the place or worse. I blocked the number, hands shaking, and stepped back into the gym's lobby. I wandered around aimlessly for a few minutes, past the weight racks, the water fountain, just killing time to make sure they weren't circling back. When I finally felt it was safe, I slipped out and hustled to my car, checking over my shoulder the whole way. When I got home, I yanked every listing off Craigslist. Loose packs, slabs, all of it. Starting then, it was eBay all the way, regardless of the costs. I don't regret bailing. Call it gutless. Call it whatever. You weren't there. That Venusaur sits on display in my shop now. Off limits and not for sale. It's a hell of a story to tell customers and a reminder where it all began. Back when I was just a kid with a stack of cards and a bad feeling. Anyway, what would you have done? Thanks for watching. And, as my father always said, Nothing good happens past the dreaded hour.